For this month's tool video, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about some of my favorite sanding tools. Stay tuned and see what I've got to say. Alright, so before we start, I've got a little disclaimer here. This is by no means the absolute variety of sanding materials. This is the stuff I thought of off the top of my head that I reach for most often, and so I thought these would probably be the most useful. If you've got some other sanding tools that you love, let me know in the comments. Maybe you'll turn me on to something new, or maybe you'll remind me of something I forgot. So let's start at the bottom. Yeah, because we always start at the bottom of the pile, right? Sandpaper. I try to buy my sandpaper in a mixed package, and this is actually I think I picked this up at Dollar Tree, and there's 12 sheets in here, everything from a coarse to a pretty fine. A variety is a good idea, and a piece of sandpaper will last you for a long time on a miniature project. Usually I cut the sheet into 4 pieces, and then I fold that to make it more convenient to use. So that's that. Another type of sandpaper I like, and this one I actually had to search for to find because I found my package was empty. This is 400 grit. Is this 400? This is actually 320 grit. It's a wet dry sandpaper, and I think usually I get this in the automotive department. This makes, if you wet this a little bit, you can really get a fine finish, really smooth down your work. So this is also handy to have, although more expensive, and probably of all the things I've got on the table today, this would be the last one I would purchase, but just so you know it's out there. Now, Emery Boards. I buy tons of these. I buy huge packages of them at, again, Dollar Tree. Usually you have 2 sides to an emery board. They're convenient because they're small, they're stiff enough you can get into spots, and they've got a good sanding surface. Basically, it's 2 pieces of sandpaper laminated to a little thin piece of wood or cardboard or something in the middle, depending on the brand you get. Really useful, and probably the thing I end up pulling out the most often. Brown paper grocery bag. This is great when you're painting or varnishing things to finish between coats. This will surprisingly take off a lot of the little tiny scratches and give you a really smooth finish on surfaces. So grab a paper grocery bag and have that on hand. Now, something I like to grab from my nail stuff when they get kind of beat up and I don't want to use them for my nails anymore are these, I think this is an 8. Is this an 8 side? 7 side? Nail buffer. Basically, it goes from a fairly coarse sandpaper on the ends on this one through different grits all the way up to a polish and shine, which is, it feels like paper. It's smooth, but it's amazing the gloss you can bring up with this. They're usually small and easy to hold, so they make for an easy object to use when you're working on small projects. And the last item I have today is also from the nail department. It's one of these little buffer blocks. I don't know the real name for these, but they're sold with the nail stuff. They come in either white or pink, and they're kind of firm, and they've definitely got a sandy surface to them, sandpaper feeling surface. These are used a lot with acrylic nails. In fact, this one came out of an acrylic nail kit. So they work really well for sanding off small objects, and they're soft enough they won't scratch too much, and they won't take off too much. That's one of the things when you're working with miniatures, is not taking off too much surface, because that can change the scale of your object. So that's just a quick review of some of my favorite sanding tools. Come back for our tips video in 2 weeks, and I'll do some tips for sanding to help you sand your projects and get them to look their best.